S.C.G, the man who won the Cadence of Hyrule transition tunes, he's back with more. Thanks, Sam. He gave us a question at the N-E Café thread on the N-Europe forums, and he asks, how do we manage to divide our time between playing the latest game releases and our backlog? Now, before we start, I'm going to quickly go around. How big is your backlog, Nick?
You know that 128 gigabyte SD card I've got?
Yeah.
It's all backlog.
Oh dear. Greg, how big is your backlog?
I dread to think it spans back over, do you know how many consoles? I mean, I've got SNES games there probably that I've never beat before.
Decades.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm just thinking about Switch because I tend to get rid of old consoles. I still have the Wii U and a lot of games on the Wii U, but I'm not counting that. Just on the Switch, and I'm also not counting games on the NES and SNES Online, which I want to play as well. I got about 50 games left in my backlog, but that includes like the 6 Contra games in the collection. I've split those up. I've started to make a list, and kind of, right, what do I want to play next, and check them off as I've done them.
If you're gonna start splitting them up, Sega Mega Drive Classics is gonna screw me over there.
There's over 50 in one fell swoop. So, addressing his question then, how do you divide your time between, we are obviously all got huge backlogs, but then all of a sudden a new game drops? Mm-hmm. How do you sort your time out, Nick?
Well, I think this year actually I've been quite good. I think the only game I'm talking about, like physical releases, I bought, the last 2 games I bought were Fire Emblem and Link's Awakening. Let's say, I think that was since August, and I have barely started Fire Emblem, but I finished Link's Awakening. And when I go home for Christmas, I'm planning on spending between £300 and £400 on physical games.
Switch.
Yeah, there's about 10 games. So I didn't get Astro. I spoke about it before. I didn't get Astro Train, Daemon X Machina, Luigi's Mansion, Ring Fit Adventure, Pokemon. Like all of this stuff, I haven't got it. So when I go home, I'm going to pick all that up, and that's going to be, well, we know how keen Nintendo are on releasing games in the first half of the year. So I'll be sorted for the first half of the year.
Perfect time. What about Metroid Prime HD trilogy's coming? January. Hopefully.
January. I've got. I'm gonna buy a game again. I'm gonna buy the SMT Fire Emblem again and play through it again. I've already finished it, but the problem for me with the backlog is that I'll start a game, I'll have great fun playing it, and then I'll get something else and I'll drop it. So, like, just to give you an example, I've got 15 hours on Doom, haven't finished it. I got 25 hours on Skyrim, haven't finished it. I got 30 hours on Octopath Traveler, haven't finished it. Because I started them and I was playing them for 3-4 hours a day, getting really into it, and then boom, something else came out and I just dropped it completely. And that's my biggest problem. And I have tried, especially over the last few months, as I haven't been buying anything, to go back and try to finish off some of the games that I started. I was determined to complete Link's Awakening because I had dropped that as well after a few hours, but I went back and finished it. I'm currently I don't want to say finishing off because I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I'm going through Xenoblade 2 and I'm plowing through it now. Like, it took me a while to get it took me a while to get back into it, but now I'm right back into it, and I'm probably going to hopefully finish it because I bought Torna in the sale. So I've got more Xenoblade content.
I've been eyeing that, I've been eyeing that up as well, going, do I need it? Yeah. It's a shorter experience.
I've got, a couple of games that I would like to talk about. Bomb Chicken.
Yeah.
Wargroove.
Yeah.
Shakedown Hawaii.
Yeah.
And
all good.
There's one more. I can't remember what it is though. They're all on my Switch, and I've never even started them. They're just waiting.
I tend to. I'll talk about it in more depth now, but I tend to buy a game and then just stick it straight in the backlog.
Yeah,
it's there waiting. Bomb Chicken is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Haven't even gone into the game at all.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, Civilization 6 is my latest one. I bought it, and it's just, I know I haven't got time for it, but I bought it because the price was right, and it's in the backlog. Yeah, it's on my list to do. Greg, how do you approach it? New game or backlog?
I'm not sure I manage it all that well, to be quite honest. Getting time at the minute is extremely difficult, and I suppose, like Nick said about he starts a game and then he doesn't play it for a while, and then he'll eventually try and go back. It's really difficult to go back to games sometimes. Like, for example, I've got Dark Souls there, which is, I think, from my understanding, it's probably about 50 to 60% sort of the way through. That's, to me anyway, it's a really difficult game. And I keep trying to go back to it, but every time I go back to it, it's like I sort of need to learn how it plays again. And I'm not entirely sure where I'm at the moment, actually. But I bought it digitally in the sale this week because I feel like I'll actually get more of an opportunity to play it because I won't have to actually go and change the cartridge. That sounds really lazy, but with it being on the system, there's more chance of me just clicking on it just because it's there than having to actually physically put it in the system. But I'm not sure, like the last couple of weeks, I suppose it's been a wee bit eye-opening to me because, like, last weekend, for example, I played Donkey Kong Country, which I spoke about in the podcast last week. Obviously, I've beat that game countless times. I just wanted to play it again. And I think I'm just getting to the stage where I want to buy less because nothing really seems to be exciting me anymore, so I don't really have as many new games to buy. But even if I'm looking at games that I haven't beat before, it's like, do I want to play this? And I'm sorry, I almost getting that way with Link's Awakening at the minute because I haven't really been touching it, and there's still a couple of dungeons to do, so I almost feel obligated to play it, but I don't really want to. I'm sort of getting to the stage where it's just like I should just play games that I want to play rather than like feel obligated to check them off the list just because they're there. So like I've had a really real urge recently to play Super Mario Galaxy, and it's just one of these days I'm just going to sit down and play it again because it's been probably a good 10 years since I've been through that game. So it's time, so why not just enjoy it instead of buying something new just because it goes on sale or something, and I'm not feeling that encouraged to play it. But I've definitely been worse in recent years, and a large part of that is probably having children. If you're enthusiastic about getting through countless games every year, then don't have children.
I agree.
Point taken.
Implicitly.
Love them to bits.
There's a word of warning there, Nick.
Before Jacob was born, he's my oldest. He's about 3.5 now. I think the year before he was born, I was pretty much going through probably about 3 games a month. Like checking them all off the back. Things like Dino Crisis, just all sorts of classics that I just never really got a chance.
Great game.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Just I went through loads of games just on different consoles, just picking ones. Like, right, I haven't beat this here. Sit down and actually play through it all, and it was brilliant. Like I had found so many great games that it's just like, why have I not played this sooner? Those sorts of things, and just since I've had children, it's just time is becoming tighter and tighter and tighter, and the Switch, as convenient as it is, sometimes it doesn't have the game that I want to play on it at that moment, and it's difficult finding the time to go and play something else on the backlog from a different console. So I don't know, I'm in a weird position at the minute where it's like nothing new is really exciting me, and I can't quite land on a game that I really, really, really want to play. But Call McCoy Rally 2 at the minute is like a game I'm sort of seem to be focusing on. So, yeah.
I think one of the dangers of the backlog is when you start to feel obliged to do it, you're never going to have fun. That's what I think anyway.
That is true.
Every time I've thought like, oh, I should play this, I sit down, start playing it, and I don't want to do it. Like I think you should play what you enjoy. Yeah. But then that has its problems as well, because then I just spend 3 or 4 hours a day on Rocket League when I could be playing something else, like instead of just wasting time on Rocket League. Like I'm never going to be a grand champion, so what's the point? Like I should play it for fun instead of like getting angry and getting banned from chat from telling my teammates they're rubbish and stuff like that. So yeah, it's difficult. It's like balancing it is really, really hard. And as you know, I got to Diamond on Rocket League this week, and
yeah, I was just about to mention. Yeah.
Bragging.
No. This isn't a brag. That is 975 hours. And I like when I achieved it, I was like, wow, I finally did it. Like it took me 300 and something to get to platinum, 975 to get to diamond, and then I was like, well, that was a bit of a waste of time. Like 975 hours. Imagine how many games I could have completed in that time. And yes, I would have, like, some of them wouldn't have been as fun. Rocket League's a fantastic game. I absolutely love it, and I enjoy playing it. But I think it's just overkill. Like, I think I need to go back to single player. Like, I just, sit down, handheld mode. I'm getting used to it now. I'm playing every day in handheld mode a little bit more and more, like when I go to bed or something. And I think I need to step away and try to tackle some of the backlog. But I understand completely that when you switch on a game and you're not feeling it, like, it's better to just switch it off and do something else, definitely.
Yeah.
And come back to it later.
Yeah. I hit that a couple of months ago, and I just couldn't find a game I wanted to get into. Mm-hmm. But normally my kind of gaming schedule is I have like one major large game on the go, mm-hmm. which will take up most of my time. But then I've got little bits and pieces, like I just finished 100% Luigi's Mansion 3, mm-hmm. which we'll talk about maybe next week. Before that, I had Wolfenstein Youngblood. That took like 60 hours to go through.
Wow.
And next, so I'm eyeing up what's my next big game, but I won't rush into it. I'm thinking, what do I feel like I want to play? Mm-hmm. It's either going to be The Witcher or Fire Emblem. And at the moment, I've got that Wargroove feel. I think I'm going to plump for Fire Emblem, but we'll see in a couple of days now. Because we have Demon's Crest to play through as well.
Yeah.
Which I'll have to put some time into soon. Get the most of it out of the way anyway. But I also have these what I call daily grind games, but games I enjoy as well. So Tetris 99, play for 10 minutes, get the tickets, do a bit of that, wake my brain up in the morning. Then I got Ring Fit Adventure, do 30 minutes of exercises, that's been fun. A little bit of Grid Auto Sport, maybe mm-hmm. one race, maybe mm-hmm. two races, depending how I'm feeling. Because some days you get the feel of the car, some days you don't. If it's going well, I'll stick with the Grid Auto Sport for a little bit longer. And then in the evening, a couple of games of Overwatch is quite nice, mm-hmm. So just games that you can drop into for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I got a couple of those going at the same time, all the time basically. And then I tend to have another kind of backlog, something to check off the backlog, even if I don't finish it. At least I said, right, I played it, don't like it, off it goes. And like this week it's been Assault and Metaltron. But over the last couple of weeks, I finished like Tales from Space, Mutant Blobs Attack, Bastion, Gone Home, Celeste. I've checked a few off my backlog, and it's been going well. I know it won't be going well forever, but I've had a renaissance in my gaming love as well. I've been really putting more time into gaming, and I've enjoyed what I've played. I'm not playing games to think, oh yeah, I've got to check that off. I want to play this one. But I think we can all agree we play too many games, mm-hmm. and we still don't have time to clear our backlogs. And it's only getting larger. Like I said earlier, I've added Civ 6 to it. I've added both the Batman Telltale games to it as well. But what a time to be alive.
Civ 6, is a game that will last you 5 years at least.
Yeah.
You just put it on whenever you feel like it, play a game for 2 or 3 hours, and then forget about it for a few weeks. That's how I've been doing it, and I absolutely love it. Like,
cool.
I'll just be in the mood for a strategy game. I'll sit down, put it on, and it can go 5 or 6 hours. Like, it's not a problem. Switch it off, forget about it, and then play it again in a month. So I like those sort of games that you can just dip in and out of for a long period and then just, bin them off. Not like Fortnite where you have to play every day or something like that.
And Greg, I reckon you've got a lot less time to play games. One, because you have family, but my life schedule is very strange in that I have most of my free time in the morning when my son's in school.
Lucky.
And then I'm working in the evening when just as he's coming home, and then we cross over, and then I come home about 7 or 8 o'clock-ish in the evening. So I do get a lot of time to game recently, which is quite nice. I'm expecting, Greg, like you've already told us, it'll get better. It will get better.
Yeah, I find myself, like, even when I get the wains to bed, like, even if it's still relatively early in the night, I'm so tired, and there's nights I just pick up the Switch, and like even if it's to play Rocket League, for example, I'll maybe like be playing one game, and like halfway through the game I start feeling my eyes getting heavy, and it's just you can't concentrate, and it's like, right, be as well going to bed or just lie back and watch something here for a while till I drift over. But it's been difficult, and I can actually relate to Nick and his Rocket League thing where like recently I got to Platinum. That's obviously nowhere near the level that Nick's at, but that was an achievement for me. It didn't last long, but as soon as I got there I started playing with like terrible players. I just seem to get maxed up with idiots, and usually I'm the idiot on the team, right? Fair enough, but terrible players, and I was just quickly dropping down through the ranks, and the more I was playing I was just thinking, right, I really need to wean myself off and start playing something else. And like I did move on to Tropical Freeze, like, and after a few days I sort of found myself not really dipping into Rocket League at all, and I haven't really played it that much actually recently. I have been a bit better about picking up other things to play, so long may it continue.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.